What do you like about the hose cart?
Everything. Speed, the ability to swing it over, roll up that way. The ability to swing it over, you can see when you're laying out. The fact
You have it swung over when you're laying hose out too, so you can see behind.
You bet.
You're not the first one.
I do it every time. Actually, John got me started on that because he did it with our old hose carts. But yeah, once I started doing that, I can dump that hose 8th gear, 10th gear, full throttle, and till you get down to the end, and just I can lay out the entire line in 30 minutes. Just about empty that whole hose cart if I have to. The only thing that'll slow me down is going through a culvert or something, but holds plenty of hose and you can get rid of a lot of it quick. Pick it all back up quick.
So even like when you are laying around the site, you'll still pick it up driving forward, following that?
Yeah, I'll split
it
it once in a while, but yeah, most of the time I'll use a hose humper to stretch the hose straight, and then after that, I just hook up the hose and roll. It's fast.
And you guys have run hydro carts and puck carts?
No puck carts.
No puck carts?
Hydro and farm start.
Farm start. Okay.
Which hold very little big hose, so it's a lot of hose carts when you're doing it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, how many hose carts did you say you got to park with buying this one?
Well, we're still using every one of them, but I got probably 3.5 hose carts worth of hose on mine that I keep with me all the time.
Okay.
So
it's got to save quite a little running around.
Definitely makes the trip a little bit shorter. I mean, you're limited to towing it with a tractor, where we do a lot with our pickups on the other ones, but it's still faster. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff to move with pickups that if you can pick up your hose in 20 minutes and lay it back out in a half hour to 20 minutes, it's worthwhile to drive that much hose from site to site in one shot. I do everything with a tractor, but I use my tractor on a chopper pump too. So we converted a trailer pump into a double PTO trailer pump. So it's just pull one PTO shaft loose and pull a pin, and I'm off that, and then it's hook up to the hose cart, and then it's easy to hook up. So I mean, it's simple to use, really. And the more I use it, the more easy it gets. So
do you ever run the hose humper on the tractor to pull this, or is the hose humper tractor too small?
Hose humper creates enough challenge that I don't want to mess with it. Just crawling underneath to hook the hoses up makes it less user friendly. The hoses on the hose humper itself take up enough hydraulic outlets that trying to get the hose cart to function all the way around wouldn't work very good.
And you still got it on an 8400, right?
81.
Or 8100.
Yeah. So, I mean, and, we were concerned with the horsepower, but all the valving is correct now, and everything seems to work like it should. I can unroll fast and roll up fast. The hydraulics seem to keep up with it all right. So, it does a pretty good job. I'm limited to not using the hitch on the back of it, just for the fact that the 8100 don't weigh enough and have enough horsepower to pull a full hose cart plus something else down
behind it. Yeah.
But if we had a bigger tractor, obviously we'd utilize the hitch feature on the back of it and pull more stuff out. I'd probably pull my chopper pump with it and save a pickup trip, But yeah.
Whether that means the boss is sleeping or.
Yeah,
it's on order.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If we order another one, I'm going to find a way to commandeer it.
We already heard it was on order.
It's on order.
But I was in the tractor. I
made it for somebody that.
Say that again.
I said he left his hose cart at my site, and I've never used it. He didn't give me any kind of instruction on it. I just basically got in there. He had the tractor all set up with all the electronics and stuff for it, and it was already hooked to the tractor. So all I did was get in there and just check my surroundings and see what did what. Looked at the panel, seen what buttons did what. I just messed around with it for about 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, I rolled 3 hoses up. It was easy. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory if you have any common sense. Honestly, it's a pretty.
And I think it helps that you can see what you're doing.
Right, exactly.
Versus trying to figure out what you're doing and not being able to see on top of it.
Well, and I especially, myself, with the way I've been rolling up in the last 6 years, I can appreciate and respect the front rolling part. Because my neck has went through heck in the last 6 years of looking backwards at what I'm doing. And with the ability to move it to the side and roll a hose right next to you and look at what's going on in front of you instead of turning behind you and looking, second to none. I like that factor more than anything about that hose cart.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, the ergonomics and the comfortability of it is I like that about
and
it.
And here, I mean, for the most part, other than when he looks back to move the level wind, he just looked forward. He was just watching the tension on his hose driving forward, and you look over and and he'd bump it to the left or to the right or whatever, and that was about it.
I lock I run my hydraulics for rolling and constant. I click it on to constant, and I only run one lever. I turn the roll up feature on the whole time, and I just shift through gears and move the sides shift. I don't mess with the rest of it.
See, now when I did it, I was stationary. I never really moved, but I wasn't rolling up an entire line like he was. I had 2 or 3 hoses laying along the road ditch, so I didn't get to go as far as moving, with the hose and whatnot. But honestly, you get me in that tractor for half hour, and I'm gonna know exactly what I need to do. So,
how much did you roll up sitting still?
We had 7 8-inch hoses. I don't do it
dry
all
conditions or wet conditions
anymore, but
it will do it.
It was they were laid in a ditch pretty much, and I had to sit in one spot, and it will from the beginning, not when you got half a hose cart full already, you're not gonna get it done. Not with an 8100 anyway.
Yeah.
But when starting out, you can roll. We did roll 7 hoses. You'd be pretty careful with your couplers when they come through and get some slack.
It should just go right through. They're probably 200. The hose is probably 200 feet out.
Now, I also fixed a hose because somebody did that this year. Somebody pulled too many hoses to start with, and basically, when they wrapped the hose over top the coupler at about 100 feet of hose, wrapped it over top the coupler.
It was tight.
It was tight over top, just the clamp and the bolt, and poked a hole, just a little hole. It took me forever to find where the hole was because you could barely even see the hole, but it poked enough of a hole to, right on site's a bad deal to have a hole in your hose. So, but I'm pretty careful that I don't put that much tension on it anymore. But
that's what with him, he did the same thing. You could see him, like the tractor just kind of lunged forward as that thing was coming through. And then he would, I don't know if he kicked it up 1 gear while he was doing, once it went through the level line, I don't know if he kicked it up a gear because you could see that he wasn't pulling that next coupler forward any longer. He was just sitting in, he was driving a little faster than what he was bringing the hose in.
Right.
Gave it about 3-4 wraps right over the coupler and then kicked it back down a gear and
no matter what hose cart
dragging
you're using, no matter what hose cart you're using, if you're pulling more than one hose, you need to make sure there's slack in that coupler. Otherwise, you're over time gonna pop a hole in one of them hoses.
Yeah.
We found that out quick, fast, in a hurry when we were trying to roll up 2 and 3 hoses with our old Farm Star and hydro carts. Is you start rolling up too many of them and you start ripping ends out of couplers, and
even our 6-inch hose, when you start bending it, it puts too much tension on one side.
You should always put
it'll pull it out.
Always put slack in your couplers.
How much time a day do you figure that you would save on this one versus your other one?
Oh, I'd say it saves me an hour and a half.
Every day?
Just about. Yeah.
That's big.
If I gotta hook up 3 different hose carts, and I gotta go out and roll up 4 hoses and come back and get another hose cart, roll up 4 hoses, it's an hour and a half. I mean, I don't lay out at every site. I don't lay out that much hose, but it's a good chunk of time. I mean, really.
Well, the sheer size of it, I'm sure, you know.
Well, you're just not
the
having to
amount-
hook and unhook from the hose carts is big, but then not having to unhook and hook from hose or
difference
whatever.
from him and I is he can stretch out what, 1.5 miles, 2 miles with that?
It's a mile and a quarter.
Mile and a
half.
quarter. For me to do the same thing,
You need
I
three
need
and a half.
3.5 hose carts. Now, laying out, you can be done on average 20 minutes. Am I right?
Me?
Yeah. On average 20 minutes.
Yeah.
For me, 3 hose carts, guaranteed an hour, hour and a half. To get
Well, if I'm laying
everything
out a
done.
mile and a half, I got to go through a culvert somewhere, most likely. Unless I want to separate K and J. K and J, I could stretch.
Yeah, but honestly, you're going to leave the hose sit at the culvert. Either you're going to put it through the culvert and have just enough slack on one side, or go lay the other one out.
That day I called you that I was going to be hose humping in a couple hours. That day, I come across the site. I thought I was going to fight going through 2 fence lines, and I laid out the drag hose and the rest of my diagonal, and down a fence line for 40-acre set, and then down a diagonal, through a fence, across another 40-acre set kitty corner, so basically a whole other diagonal, through a fence, across another
A lot of
not quite a
obstructions.
40 acres. Just happened that I could drive through each fence line, and I laid out just about every hose I had on that hose cart in 25 minutes. And even the guys, you know, that worked on my crew, they're just like, wow, because there's no way if I had 4 hose carts that I needed to get that done, it would have been lay out 3 hoses, drop the hose cart somewhere, get hooked up to another hose cart, go back
out into the field.
mean, that site alone most likely saved me 2.5 hours, because the hose carts would have probably all been parked up at the site, and I had to go out on the road and all the way around the road, get another hose cart and go all the way back. And especially if we were doing it with pickups, it's going to be, well, whether you're doing it with a pickup or a tractor, you still got to cut across the field again, you know, to get from where you dropped the last hose to that spot again.
Mhm.
So that's 2 or 3 trips. So, like I said, when it comes to the compaction of this one hose cart, you think about the extra trips it takes to get them 4 hose carts out to the field where you're not even doing nothing, just getting to the coupler. It's well worth it.
Well, and getting beat up driving across that field 3 extra times.
Exactly.
You know, when I was out here the other day getting
And-
video of that, it wasn't too bad because it was fairly soft.
And